Hello everyone, my name is Olivia. Today I want to show you about the Chinese student perception of communication and the non-communicative activities in EFL classroom. Okay, let's see the introduction. Present attempted to introduce CLT into EFL teaching in China have provoked a great deal of comment and debate. The majority of the accounts have the focus on the needs to adopt CLT to the demands and the conditions for language learning and teaching in China. So the researcher want to ask, do they enjoy activities involve communication and the real use of language? Are they receptive to the teaching technical that may be a new one to them? Do they agree that real language activities emphasize language contents are more effectively than non-communicative activities that stress informal corrections? Do they believe that such activities are helpful to them as language learners? Within this healthy debate on English teaching methodology, the study of Chinese students' response to CLT deserves particular attention. With those questions, research and the English teachers have conducted extensive study on Chinese students' learning strategy, and the leader would say, Asia student as an obedient listener, whether or not it is a reflection of their actual behavior in class, does not reflect the role they would like to adopt in class. Okay, for this sort of events can be available, but it is surprising that almost nobody seems to have to actually ask Chinese students themselves to rate the extent to which they enjoy communicative and non-communicative activities. Recent research have shown that the reception of the teachers and their students does not match. Okay, let's see. More easily, we can say recent research have not shown the receptions of the teachers and their students do not always match. Okay, for last PPT, I can say more. The research explore their personal feelings and benefit in English learning finally. The research will discuss about the implication of the findings for EFL teachers in the Chinese context, as well as for those teachers who may share the same characteristic of English teaching worldwide. Okay, let's look at the defining characteristic of CLT. CLT starts with the theory of language as a communication and its a goal to develop learners' communicative competence. In CLT, meaning is promoted. There are a variety of communicative activities. Another characteristic of CLT is the activities in the communicative portion are often carried out of students in small groups. It is considered desirable to give learners the opportunity to develop strategies for understanding language, as it is actually used a native speaker. The finding characteristic of CLT is it is a learner-centered and experiences-based view of second language teaching. So let's see for this study. For this study, the study report here uses a case study approach to investigate Chinese students' perceptions of communicative and non-communicative activities in EFL classroom. Background CLT in China. Students did not like to participate in communicative type activities and preferred to more traditional classroom work. On the other hand, teachers feel discouraged from continuing with CLT, and both because of the student negative response and because of their lack of training in using CLT and the low English proficiency. But we want to ask, what is the responsibility for this phenomenon? Is CLT a valuable approach for English teaching in China? To answer those questions, the author wants to ask two questions. 1. What are the students' perceptions of the communicative and non-communicative in EFL classroom? And what are their previous difficulties in an EFL classroom exactly conducted by a teacher using CLT. Let's see the subject. Survey subjects. The participants in the formal questionnaire were 30 Chinese university students majoring English in Jiangxi Normal University, China. 所以是江西师范大学. All of the subjects has been explored to CLT, both in a secondary school in university, and were therefore familiar with the terming applied in the investigation. Okay, for our interview subjects, not for freshmen and not for senior, it is sophomore and junior. Instrument is questionnaire. They have the three parts. Part A will consider the subject's personal detail. Part B will involve the communicative and the real use of the language, include activities, characteristics by student-to-student interaction with little or no modeling of the student output by the teacher. And Part C will consist of some difficulties that Chinese EFL students may have the using communicative activities in the EFL classroom, and the second will use the interviews again. Data analysis. Data analysis is not a simple description of the data collection, but a process by which the researcher can bring interpretations to the data. For this research, he discovered the students' perceptions of the communicative and the non-communicative activities and identify the recurrent themes and the silent community is regard to the constructions in the Chinese student had encouraged in using communicative activities. Results. Report difficult case by the communicative activities in EFL classroom. They will have the three reasons. Lack of the motivations for developing communicative competence, and the traditional learning style and habits, EFL learning situation, and the lack of fighting. Implication of the study. All of the example illustrate the Chinese student English learning can be facilitated if the teacher can develop their own located appropriate vision of the communicative approach. Okay, one is avoiding students' misconceptions of CLT. While trying to introduce CLT, teachers and to consequence oriented students to the base foundation of the classroom, the role of the student and the nature of the language. They should make their students fully understand the future of CLT. And the second one is balance the relationship between the linguistic competence and the communicative competence. Linguistic competence is the base of communicative competence. Without linguistic competence, there is no communicative competence to speak of. Okay, but students should also be made aware that communicative competence does not result from linguistic competence. Automatically, students should actively participate in such a form of the classroom activities. Third one is creating authentic communicative theory from the real use of the language. Because a student in EFL situation does not have many chance to be involved in the real use of the language, it is of vitally important for the teachers to promote them with such an appropriate. Making full use of any material available. The study shows that lack of materials prevent the students in EFL situation from getting exposed to the authentic English language. So, the teacher and the student, we can say, can find an article from the English language magazine or newspaper to fill in their lesson. Okay, let's come to the conclusion. Teachers' current patterns and the other who want to sensitive to the needs of the student they serve cannot always rely their unaided institution. They need to realize the student express their personal opinions about the communicative and the non